I realized my entire 12-year career was being erased the moment a security guard escorted me out of the building on a random Tuesday morning. They thought they were quietly throwing away a disposable employee to save a few dollars. What they did not realize was that they had just pulled the plug on a $300 million merger. My name is Nora Vance, and I was the senior compliance architect at a major technology firm called CoreLink. By the way, let me know in the comments which country you are watching this video from right now. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss these deep betrayals. For over a decade, I worked in the shadows ensuring our systems met every federal regulation imaginable. Our company was on the verge of acquiring a massive competitor called Macrovia in a deal that dominated the news. I spent 6 agonizing months writing the security handshake protocols and obtaining the unique federal clearance required to authorize the merger. Nobody else in the building possessed this authorization because the process was too tedious for them. Everything changed when a new chief operating officer named Preston arrived with a mandate to cut costs. He wore expensive suits and spoke in corporate buzzwords while viewing experienced staff as expensive liabilities. Preston wanted to show his power immediately, so he targeted the quietest people first, and my name was at the top of his list. The human resources representative named Brenda called me into a cold glass office and handed me a termination letter. They claimed my role was redundant and ordered me to surrender my access badge by the afternoon. As I packed my desk, I saw a printed photo of my face tape labeled "Do not let her back." The humiliation was intense, but I refused to let them see me cry. I walked to my car in the parking lot and pulled out my personal phone to make a single adjustment. I logged into the Federal Security Registry and revoked my personal signature key, which was hardwired into the merger. They did not realize that my clearance was legally tied to a specific requirement called Clause 9C. According to the original acquisition contract, if the named compliance liaison was terminated without a certified replacement, the entire merger would suspend automatically. I sat in my quiet house and realized the chaos was about to begin. The next day, I called Harrison Croft, who served as the head of compliance at Macrovia. I calmly explained that I was no longer an employee of CoreLink and that my credentials had been revoked. Harrison went entirely silent on the line as the gravity of the situation finally registered in his mind. Within hours, Macrovia halted the entire transaction and froze the escrow accounts because they lacked a certified neutral witness. My brilliant lawyer Vincent drafted a formal notice confirming that I had zero association with the firm. The $300 million deal was officially dead in the water, and nobody knew how to fix it. My former assistant Toby sent me frantic messages explaining that the office was in absolute ruins. The leadership team had scheduled a celebratory signing ceremony, only to find themselves completely abandoned by the buyers. Preston was running around the conference room claiming it was a minor technical bug while the lawyers panicked. The chief financial officer of CoreLink called my phone repeatedly, but I chose to ignore his desperate pleas. He left a shaking voicemail asking if we could meet for coffee to iron out a minor discrepancy. They still believed they could charm their way out of a legal disaster they created themselves. When phone calls failed, they sent an executive courier to my house with an envelope containing a revised contract. I watched him pace on my porch through the security camera while I enjoyed a cup of hot tea. I did not open the door because my time as their cheap savior was officially over. By Monday, the board of directors held an emergency meeting to address the collapse of their stock value. A powerful lead investor named Arthur demanded to know who authorized my termination without preparing a legal transition. Preston tried to defend his decision with performance metrics, but Arthur silenced him with a wave of his hand. To make matters worse, someone leaked the photo of my face taped to the front desk with the warning message. The image went viral on professional networks, exposing the toxic culture of the firm to the entire industry. Macrovia publicly announced they were terminating the acquisition due to unresolved compliance issues. In a desperate attempt to save themselves, they sent a massive offer of double my previous salary through my attorney. Vincent responded with a beautifully written letter stating that I would only work as an independent consultant through my new business. I named the company Quiet Seal and set my rates at 4 times my original pay. The news of my consulting rates leaked to the internal staff, and my legendary status was cemented forever. Preston was quietly dismissed from his position as the board attempted to rebuild what was left of the company. The arrogant leaders who once ignored my existence were now forced to beg for my assistance. On Friday morning, a package arrived at my door from the chief executive officer of Macrovia. Inside the box was a beautiful silver pen with a short handwritten note thanking me for maintaining my professional standards. They recognized that the quietest person in the room is often the most critical asset. Now I run Quiet Seal from my home office on my own schedule with clients who truly respect my worth. I learned that you should never let people make you feel invisible when you are actually the foundation. If they choose to burn the bridge you built, you should simply stand back and enjoy the warmth.